guys, it's Amanda over at AmandaReads, and today I'm coming to you with my June wrap-up and a very summary TBR. Now, in my May wrap-up, I actually made a mistake and I said that I finished reading Starters at the end of May. However, technically I finished it in the month of June, so it should be a part of this video. It's really not the end of the world, but just thought I'd throw that out there. I finished the entire Starters duology, Starters and Enders by Lisa Price, in the month of June. I gave Starters 3 out of 5 stars, and I gave Enders 5 out of 5 stars. The Starters duology is about a girl named Callie, and this story takes place after something called the Spore Wars happens in the United States. This mold kind of came about, these spores, and they killed off like all of the middle-aged people. So the children were saved, like teenagers, and also elders were saved. They were all vaccinated. This means that a lot of children who were not very wealthy did not have someone get vaccinated to take care of them, so like Callie, she is now an orphan. Callie stays with her friend Michael and her little brother Tyler, and they're basically squatters, and Callie knows that she really needs to find a way to get them some money so that they can be safe because Tyler has a health condition. There's this opportunity for teenagers where you can actually rent your body to an ender, which are what the elderly people in the community are called, and the teenagers are called starters. And you basically rent out your body to elders. So elders take over your body while you basically sleep for however long of amount of time they rent your body for. They can rent it for months. So Callie decides that she wants to be a starter because it's a quick way to make money, and she thinks it's pretty fail-proof and it seems very safe. But something goes wrong with her implantation, and she starts having moments of lucidness where she wakes up in her own body, but she's supposed to be rented. The duology follows her after she realizes that this whole renting bodies thing isn't really being used for what it's supposed to be used for, and that there's something more serious going on, and she has to get to the bottom of it and kind of fight the bad people that are at the top of this. Next, I finished Sleepless in Manhattan by Sarah Morgan, and as I mentioned in my May wrap-up video, I am a member of the Sarah Morgan US review crew, so I do get these books sent to me in exchange for honest reviews. Sleepless in Manhattan is about a girl named Paige Walker and her 2 best friends, and all 3 of them lose their job at this like party planning place. So they're all event planners and they all have different strengths, and Paige decides that she really wants to start her own business. This is the perfect opportunity. She's unemployed, her best friends are unemployed, so what better way than to take back what they're great at and dominate the market? Of course, it's not as simple as that, and Paige needs some help from her brother's best friend, Jake Romano, who also happens to be the boy that she has had a major crush on her entire life. I found the beginning of this book to be super slow. Like, I was not able to get into this book until after about 130 pages. I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for romance at that time. I think that's what it was, because I've seen a lot of people love this book, and when I think back, like, there wasn't anything really wrong with this book. I just wasn't loving it at the beginning. This is the first book in a trilogy, and I believe that the other 2 books are going to be told from her best friends' perspectives, so I'm actually really excited about that because I loved getting to know her best friends, and I would love to read books in their point of view. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I will warn you, it does sometimes read like 50 Shades of Grey. It really reminded me of 50 Shades of Grey, like a forbidden romance, but it's like so hot, and I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of that. I kept drawing parallels as I was reading, but it wasn't a horrible book. I would definitely recommend it. I just think that I personally wasn't in the right mindset at the time of reading it. I think I should definitely give it a reread at some point in the future. Next, I read Perfected by Kate Jarvik Birch, and this is the first book in a series. The main character in this story is Ella, and Ella has been brought up to be a pet. In this world, orphan girls are bred to be pets, and families can adopt them and basically do whatever they want with them, which is extremely creepy when you think about it. Ella is adopted into a congressman's family, and there is immediately some mystery surrounding the events of her, adoption, because they mention that they used to have a pet and something weird happened and they had to get rid of her. She got sick. So Ella is very naive, and Ella is perfectly content with her life until she meets the congressman's son, Penn, who makes her feel these weird feelings that she's never felt before, and she starts to realize that she is absolutely falling in love with Penn. But the congressman is extremely unhappy that his son is spending time with his pet. The congressman sees Ella as his own personal pet, and it is an extremely creepy story. The story starts to take a turn when Ella is actually abducted by someone who is trying to save her from her lifestyle, and she starts to kind of realize that things are not what they seem, and she becomes a lot less naive, and she starts to realize what's going on. So this is about her trying to make the best decision for herself and figure out how to get out of the situation she's in. I absolutely love this book. I read the first chapter and then put it down because I was finishing Sleepless in Manhattan, but when I picked it back up, I read it in one whole sitting. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It ended on a cliffhanger, but I really want to wait for the rest of the series to come out before I read them because I feel like all of the books will end on a cliffhanger until the final book. But I really thought it was very good and I highly recommend it. The final book I read in the month of June was Room by Emma Donoghue. I was expecting it to take place more in the room, like the whole story, and then at the end they would get out. It actually happened that they were in Room, they got out, and then you learn more about what it's like after Room. It's like life after Room. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars, mainly because it is told from Jack's perspective, so you are reading it as if it's told from a 5-year-old, and holds true to that. It does seem like a 5-year-old is telling you the story, but for that reason, I would get really confused because Jack, everything is new to Jack. He doesn't know the names for things. So he'll describe something, it'll be like shiny thing, and then I'm trying to figure out what the heck is he seeing that's shiny. So I had definitely had to reread a couple passages. I can definitely appreciate the way Emma Donoghue wrote this book. I did immediately watch the movie after because I do own it, and it was my first time seeing it. And I really liked the movie. I want to say I kind of liked the movie more than the book. And I do think that there were critical scenes in the book that were good to know about that you didn't get in the movie. And I understand that, but I really did like the way they adapted it. I thought they did a really nice job. This is definitely a book that will tug at your heartstrings. It's very emotional, and I do recommend it. I did pick up Diversion mid-June, and I have not yet finished it. I am about halfway. I'm 251 pages in, and I am really enjoying it. I have already seen Divergent and Insurgent, and I own them. And I actually really like kind of making the parallels, like, oh, they included this, oh, they didn't include this in the movie. And so far, like, I think the movie was a good adaptation of this book. As far as my July TBR goes, I've kind of been approaching summer with a different mindset. I definitely want to try and do my 0-15 by the end of 16. 100%. I still want to do that. However, I do feel like I have a ton of summer books that I'm actually supposed to read like in December, and that really wouldn't make any sense. So I'm kind of rearranging, picking out the summary books that I have to read this year and kind of using those to read over the next 2 months. I might read other books, I might not even get to all these, but they're books that I would love to get to if I'm able to. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, Summer Days and Summer Nights edited by Stephanie Perkins, Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, the Au Pair Beach Lane series by Sandra De La Cruz, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon because I've read a little bit. And this far in, I started reading it at the beach and it was amazing. Like, so good. The first 2 pages, there's a huge family murder and it was amazing. So I have to finish this over the summer. I am also doing a buddy read with Fiona over at Reads and Eats for the month of July, August, and September. We have books picked out. July is a Nora Roberts book that I do not physically have. I will have to go to my library to get it. But yes, we are doing that, and we will be doing a live book talk at the end of the month like we have been doing for all of our other buddy reads. I know a lot of those aren't on the 0-15 by 16. I know. I can throw in other books and work with it, but I really want to read those books over the course of this summer. Tell me down below what summary book you're most excited to get to over the course of the next 2 months. I hope you guys are having a great start to the month of July. I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July if you celebrated, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye guys!